When it comes to affirming feelings like strength, peace, safety, confidence, one of our most powerful technologies that we as human beings have is the use of affirmations. And these can be so helpful for us in conditioning our thinking. But have you ever noticed that sometimes affirmations can sound really good, but they don't feel true? So today I want to offer you a powerful workaround. This is something that's been used for many, many years in sports psychology and meditation practices, somatic therapy, yoga. This is the practice of pairing physical gestures with our affirmations. This is something that turns words into experiences. And when we do this and we practice this enough, it becomes a profound shift in how we feel inside rather than just an intellectual practice. So I'm going to share a little bit about the neuroscience behind this and offer you some examples so that you can create your own affirmation with a physical gesture that will over time help to give you the feelings that you are looking to reinforce in your life. Let's get started. So first, I just want to address why affirmations alone often do not work. That's because our brain doesn't really learn through words. Our brain tends to learn through feelings, emotions, experiences. So things like movement and sensation can be very powerful in helping our brain to absorb something new. But when we just repeat affirmations, it tends to get lodged in a part of the brain that manages intellectual information, but it doesn't get incorporated into our experiences, our feelings, our nervous system. There's just a deeper level of learning and believing that it doesn't actually hit. So pairing our affirmations with physical gestures helps us to actually absorb and synthesize the meaning of those words so that we can feel it on a different level. It turns it into an experience rather than a thought. One of the most compelling reasons why we want to pair physical gestures with affirmations is because the body and brain have such an interesting relationship with each other. When the body is feeling something, it's communicating its feeling to the brain, and that can sometimes supersede the messages that we are wanting to maintain on a more cognitive level. So, for example, if you're telling yourself, I am calm, I am at peace, but if your body is feeling really anxious and your heart is racing and your breathing is really fast and shallow, those messages are going to come into the brain and they're going to override whatever it is that you're telling yourself. That's why finding some physical cues that help your body to slow down, this is a way to change that messaging, the messages that the body is giving to the mind. So think about doing things like adjusting your posture, sitting back in a comfortable way, taking a deep breath, putting your hands on your heart, placing your fingers and thumbs together. This often creates a certain feeling, and you've likely done these things in the past and have done them during times when you have been feeling some of the states that we want to cultivate, feelings of peace, feelings of safety, feelings of gratitude. So there's already some associative learning that's gone into these gestures. Now what we want to do is we want to access all of that stored knowledge and we want to apply it to a new affirmation. Another important point about this is that we often want to use these affirmations in the heat of the moment when we are feeling stress or we're overwhelmed, we're activated by something. If we have intellectual affirmations, it's stored in that part of the brain that carries intellectual information. That's the hardest part for us to access when we are getting dysregulated or when we are feeling that stress response. Even when we're in survival mode, we can't access that part of the brain. But if there's something that we have learned to practice that is a whole body experience, if we have this physical gesture that we have as a go-to, that becomes something that we can just immediately recall and feel. And it completely gets around that barrier of having to get to the part of the brain that just stores knowledge only. Instead, it's a full body experience that we can recall when we need it the most. Okay, so now it's time for you to design your affirmation and physical gesture. First, I want to just invite you to think of a feeling or an experience that you want to start cultivating or something that you want to reinforce more of. Is it a feeling of groundedness, of safety, of peace, strength, confidence, What is it that you're wanting to connect with more? Something that you're wanting to embody, to feel, something that you want to presence yourself to in moments of doubt or fear or overwhelm. Identify that feeling or experience and see if you can turn that into a sentence. Ideally, a sentence that's in the present tense, sometimes starting with words like I am, or perhaps there's something that you want to release or let go of. First, just come up with your affirmations. Sometimes it's helpful to look online if you're having a difficult time. There's some beautiful affirmations out there. So find some that are powerful, some that speak to you, some that resonate with how you want to feel. Okay? Once you have a few affirmations, pick one, and I want to invite you to practice thinking about a gesture, a physical gesture that can pair with that affirmation, something that seems to correlate to that feeling or experience. So, I have peace within myself. I notice that my hands just want to cover my heart when I say that. Or, I release that which doesn't serve me. Having an open hand and open palms to me corresponds with that release, that letting go. Saying, I feel grounded in who I am and what I have to offer while putting my feet strongly into the floor helps me to feel the ground. It gives me that grounded feeling. So think about what gestures you can pair with your affirmation. Are you trying to focus more on things that are within your control? Maybe you're trying to stay in your own lane. I stay in my lane today. I focus on myself. Just get creative. Think about what things you can do that will reinforce that thought, that feeling, the experience. I want to close by just encouraging you to continue practicing your affirmation and physical gesture until it becomes second nature. Sometimes practicing this during times when you don't need it helps it to become more accessible in the moments when you do need it. And if you know someone that you think could benefit from this practice, share it with them, tell them about it, help them come up with their own affirmation and physical gesture. This is something that is so powerful, and it's also free. It's available to us at any moment that we need it. Alrighty, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more weekly wellness inspiration, and I look forward to seeing you next time.